Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. A very good day to distinguished guests, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me wish you all a happy and healthy and prosperous 2022. It is my great pleasure to join the Tech for Good Institute inaugural dialogue in Indonesia. And by bringing together public and private sector leaders, dialogues like this have the potential to create solutions and improve lives. At the Asian Development Bank, we focus on bringing finance and knowledge solutions on sustainable and inclusive development across Asia and the Pacific region. We very much value the private sector role in generating workable ideas for sustainable development, and I want to congratulate the Tech for Good Institute for this initiative. May I have my slide, please? I'm sure that it is no surprise to any of you here today when I say that the quality of development is hugely important, and one of the defining principles of our time is to leave no one behind. When we estimate that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused 75 to 80 million more people to fall into poverty in 2020, our primary concern is how to ensure that the post-pandemic recovery is inclusive as well as resilient, sustainable, and green. As growth returns, we must avoid the danger of a K-shaped recovery. On one hand, poorer and informal workers and the small companies they work for continue to be more severely affected by the pandemic and the associated restrictions on mobility. They are at the risk of the downward trajectory in the letter K. On the other hand, there are sectors better equipped to take advantage of new opportunities in the digital marketplace in a post-COVID world, representing those in the upward trajectory. They will reap far greater benefits and growth as opposed to those businesses and workers unable to cross the digital divide. This is the opposite of inclusive development. Learning how to make digitalization work for everyone will be a key driver of future growth. So, we all must act today to let as many people as possible benefit from accelerating digitalizations. Next slide, please. In Indonesia, based on ADB surveys, we found that micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, were severely affected in the early stages of the pandemic, with around half experiencing temporary closures. Micro and small enterprises also had disproportionately higher rate of temporary closures compared to medium-sized enterprise. Basically, the smaller the enterprise, the more likely it was severely hurt by the pandemic and restrictions. However, 1 year later, there were far fewer temporary MSME closures, meaning the business environment had begun to improve across Indonesia. Nonetheless, there are still downside risks. Many more MSMEs reported that the domestic demand fell in 2021 compared with 2020, which means that the MSMEs may not be benefiting as much from the recovery as larger firms. This is precisely behind the fear of the K-shaped recovery. I mentioned earlier, we must work hard to ensure that MSMEs and the vast majority of Indonesians they employ are not left out. We must ensure no one is left behind. Next slide, please. One way to do this is to equip as many as possible to join the fast-growing digital marketplace. In Southeast Asia, only about 70% of the population has internet access. This is well below the percentage of the People's Republic of China, the United States, and Europe. Per capita online spending is also lower in Southeast Asia than East Asia and developed countries elsewhere. Thus, there is significant potential for economic growth so long as we increase digital access and the digital skills needed for people to join the digital world and boost e-commerce in both goods and services. The digital economy in Indonesia has grown significantly in recent years. We estimate that Indonesia's digital economy accounted for 5.8% of GDP in 2019, up from 4.3% in 2014. The rapid growth will likely continue as the pace of digitalization accelerates. It is absolutely critical that Indonesia's MSMEs are prioritized in this next stage of supply chain growth and economic progress. Next slides. Our research also shows that in terms of digital platform penetrations, Indonesia is above average among selected countries in Asia and the Pacific region. This means that digital platforms like Grab, for example, play significant economic roles and are thus important catalysts for inclusive development. To ensure digitalization contributes to inclusive growth, we need to increase our readiness in 4 areas: technology, people, governance, and impact. As you can see in this slide, digital readiness varies significantly across our region. In particular, although Indonesia scores well in governance and impact of its network readiness, it needs to work on network technology and people readiness. In terms of access, content, and future technologies, Indonesia scores near the lower end of the spectrum. This suggests that access to networks and connectivity need to be improved, as many Indonesians remain shut out of the digital economy. Another challenge is the readiness and aptitude of individuals, business, and government. In order to avoid that K-shaped recovery, we need to invest in building digital skills among the population so more people can join the growing digital marketplace. Without these skills, individuals and companies run the risk of falling behind. Next slide, please. So who can teach these skills? This is where the public-private partnership can move the needle. Education's policy can include digital skills in schools' curriculums to train future workers. For those already in the labor force, companies in the digital ecosystem can prioritize training for all employees, not just workers performing digital tasks. This will also benefit companies as they continue to digitize by enabling staff to move from non-digital to digital functions. Global digital education platforms like Coursera, Udemy, and Udacity offer a wide range of low-cost online programs across many different fields and careers. While the pandemic-driven move to online education for children has been challenging, online education for working adults who are looking to upgrade, upskill, degrees, or change career has been much more successful. The global scalability of this platform makes them well suited for public-private partnerships because they can reach large audiences and they can be updated quickly to respond to emerging demand. Companies in the digital ecosystem can also offer training for budding or thriving entrepreneurs and promising small business owners in basic digital skills that are not specific to any particular platform. These include online commerce, like digital marketing, order management, logistics, and also payments. They can be taught in a platform-neutral way to help level the playing field for small businesses looking to move online. Building and expanding these skills benefit the entire community of internet users, producers, and consumers. As our regions consider its post-pandemic future, digitalization presents both opportunities and also challenges. It promises to drive future growth by creating new ways for people to transact with each other. Yet, it also threatens to keep out those unable to bridge the digital divide. So let me stop my slide here. And as I say, we can help build this bridge with the public and private sectors working together to increase e-readiness. And as Gro Harlem Brundtland, the Norway former prime minister, said, when public and private sectors combine intellectual and other resources, more can be achieved. So let's all work together to ensure that no one is left behind. Thank you very much.